All right, here we go. March 3rd. Okay, let's begin the starter, please. Okay, please begin the starter. This is a review, kind of assesses the quality of your work from yesterday. Okay, so if you look at page 102 in your digital notebook, okay, which of the following statements is true based on 102, which is document A. So take a look at that document. Okay, and then which of the following statements is true based on document B? All right, please do that now, and then we'll move on in just a minute. All right, let's move on here. So again, objective and the North Carolina Standard Course Study, they're going to be the same. They're almost identical, right? I can use primary and secondary sources to interpret various different perspectives of apartheid. And then the other one, North Carolina Standard Course of Study, goes exactly with that. But instead of saying apartheid specifically, it says interpret various historical perspectives. The statement of inquiry is discontent creates change. And I want you to think about that statement of inquiry as you're looking at this information. Try to figure out and identify the Black South Africans. In what ways would they be discontent? In what ways would they not be okay with their current situation and then seek change? I want you to think about that throughout this week and next week as we're focusing on apartheid in South Africa. So the synchronous work again is the starter. And then we'll move on to 104, okay, which is document C, and then 105, which is document D of the South Africa Apartheid DBQ. And then we'll finish always with the ticket out the door, which again is a free 5 points for you, okay? The asynchronous work is to complete page 104, document C, and 105, document D. So let's look at that now. Let's look at the DBQ so far, right? Document A, okay? Real quick, okay, if we're looking at this, my advice to you and what I noticed yesterday from a lot of individuals is you would look through the entire document and just try and highlight the numbers and dates blue without reading it. That's not the point. When we're close reading, the first time we skim through it. The second time, all right, after we number the paragraphs, is we reread each paragraph on its own, seeking understanding, not just trying to highlight and get that job done. You're trying to understand the paragraph. Okay, so that's what you're looking at when you do that. You don't just go through with blue and just start highlighting, all the numbers blue, because I have no idea what any of that means. We're seeking understanding. We're reading for comprehension that second time around. So again, if I'm doing that here, okay, all right, I did that here. I modeled it for a few classes yesterday for the second paragraph and the third paragraph. Let's if I do that for the fourth paragraph here. The African National Congress, that's a group of people, right? People's purple. So the purple here. I'll kind of highlight that here. Select that. Purple is formed. This political party aims to organize, for me, that's important there. Not that though, it needs to be orange. All right, I just double click that. It highlights the entire word. I can then select that. Organize Africans, okay, group of people, in the struggle for civil rights. Okay, so here, if I'm going to come over here then with the hashtag, I'm going to say ANC formed. All right. That's what you're doing. You're not going through the entire thing and saying, hey, I'm going to try and find all the people and highlight them purple. Okay, because then when you come back to it, you're gonna have to reread that paragraph again in order to identify what it's trying to say. Okay, so keep that in mind here. Now, hopefully you see here, right? What are two ways that Africans were discriminated against by the white government? One, right? If I'm looking at this, they couldn't hold office. That's one, real simple. They had the dangerous jobs. Okay, there's another example. That's two really straightforward, really straightforward ways that the Black South Africans were discriminated against by the white South Africans. Okay, they were paid less. That's in this paragraph here. They were forced on to smaller pieces of land. There's another example. Okay, I mean, there's examples all throughout this document. And then what happened when Africans tried to protest poor working conditions? Okay, so if you take a look at that, they were met with violence. Okay, use violence to force the unarmed workers back to their jobs. Over 1,000 workers are injured or killed. That was from an incident in 1946. Okay, so keep that in mind as we move forward here. Let's go to page 103. Quick review 103. This for me says it all. You see them side by side, the data, the characteristics of what it's like to be Black in South Africa and what it's like to be white in South Africa. You see that specific comparison. And so you can still, so here it may be a little more difficult to do the highlighting, but I would go to draw and I would highlight, right, some of these things. You can change the colors here. I do need orange. All right. Population, land allocation, share of natural income. Okay. So, but if we look at the population, 19 million people were Black in South Africa. Only 4.5 million were white. 13% of the land went to the Black South Africans. The remaining 87% went to the white South Africans. And the white South Africans have like 1/4 of the population, yet they have 87% of the land. National income, Black South Africans have less than 20% of the wealth. White South Africans have 75%. And remember, they have 1/4 of the population. Okay. Average earnings, like when it comes to how much their income they're earning, taxable income, doctors. I mean, look at health. Every one doctor to 44,000 people, okay, for the Black South Africans. One doctor to every 400 people. Okay, infant mortality rate in the city, 1 out of every 5 children would die, okay, young or when they were born. And only 2.7 of the white population. And then 40%, 4 out of 10, okay, 2 out of every 5 children die at birth in rural areas, okay, away from the city. I mean, that's just crazy. Look at this investment in education. $45 per child for the Black South Africans, but almost 700. Okay, you do that math, right? That's 14 times. That's about 14 times an increased investment that the white South African children receive. Okay, and then if you were most likely in like a Black South African school, a teacher would have on average 60 students, but in a white South African school would have 22 students. All right, so kind of go through that and do. I mean, you should have done that already, right? But I'm just reviewing. Earnings. I'm gonna just highlight all these: doctors, population, infant mortality. I mean, honestly, everything in here is extremely important. Okay. I could even change, right? Like this should be purple, but you get the idea. Okay. Now, according to the table, what are 3 ways that whites have better living conditions than Blacks in South Africa in 1978? Just pick any of those, right? I mean, it's just unfair in so many different ways. And again, think about that statement of inquiry. Discontent creates change. Discontent creates change. There's no way the Black South Africans should be content with their current situation in 1978 in South Africa. And so they should want change. They should want something different. Okay. Now you should also have a hashtag, right? in there. So you can pick whatever. I mean, I mean, so much to say here, but you just say unfair. Okay. That brings us to, I just wanted to review that real quick, make sure everybody's good on that. Let's look at document C. Document C. Now, same thing, same routine. Same thing, same routine. So document C, page 104. Everybody should have it. Okay. Here's what I would do first, right? Again, skim through it. Okay, go ahead and do that now. Go ahead and skim through it now. I'll just give you, give you about a minute. Shouldn't even take that long. All right, now, right, number the paragraphs. I'm doing that. We got one here. I would do two here. I think there are two sections here. We got a description and an image. Okay. Now, reread each paragraph in isolation, highlighting appropriately. Okay, so we're going through here. Okay, the Sharpeville Massacre. For me, it's got to be orange. On the 21st of March, 1960. That should be blue. Police, orange. So again, you hopefully you see that I'm not going through the whole thing and just trying to do orange one at a time and then blue. Okay, because I'm reading for understanding. Police open fire on protesters. Oh, that should be, the police should be purple. Okay, resulting in 69 people killed. All right, 180 wounded. All right. Of the 143 admitted to the hospitals, all right, that went to the hospital. I mean, you could do green for location, but I'm just going to do orange there. Again, I'm not going to be super picky with your highlighting, okay? There were 110 men. Now, here's important here. When I first read this, my assumption, I skimmed through it. I thought that 110 men died. I thought that 29 women and 4 children died, but those were the ones that were wounded and admitted to the hospital, okay? All right. 29 women and 4 children. Still terrible, you know. The bodies of those who died were brought by truck to a mass funeral. All right. Do not go down to that second part yet. Okay, we got to do the hashtag. I'm going to just say terrible Sharpeville Massacre. Okay. All right. And then you really, with this image here, you don't have to really highlight anything. You can, but it's not necessary. Okay. Devastation and pain. So, you decide. And then here at the bottom, answer these questions. what happened in Sharpeville, and how do you think the Africans responded? Okay. All right, let's transition because you can work on that during your asynchronous time. Let's look at document D, and then that'll be it for the day. Page 105. All right, a little bit more reading here. All right, different sections. But here, if we look at document D, we have the apartheid laws of South Africa. These are specific laws that were enacted, literally laws passed by the government of South Africa, which again was managed, controlled by the white South Africans. Now, so again, skim through it, number the paragraphs or sections, okay? Then reread one at a time, highlighting that one at a time, okay? And then do your hashtag man idea. So again, let's look at the first one. Let's do this first one together. Make sure we're on the same. Okay, so again, I'll give you a minute. Go ahead and read through it, please, because that's always the first step. Skim through this document. Go ahead and do that now. Now, let's look at that first one, okay? Prohibition of Mixed Marriages Act of 1949. So I'm going to say here, it's important. Date, 1949. Made illegal, prohibited, made illegal, okay? It was illegal marriages between white people and people of other races. All right. And then, oh, forgot the number of the paragraphs. My bad. This is paragraph 1. We can talk about no mixed marriage. All right. That's the summary of that first law in 1949. So again, as review, you will go through and do each of those laws on their own, okay, and do all the highlighting. I'm gonna number the paragraphs here too. Do all the highlighting, okay, and then the hashtag for each of those. And again, you're reading for understanding. You're not just reading to just get the highlighting done, because that's not the point. That is not the point. And then you answer these questions. In what ways did the apartheid laws help whites maintain control over non-whites? And then which law do you think was the most unjust and why? All right. We'll come back to that for asynchronous work. Go ahead to the ticket out the door, please. Ticket out the door. Be careful of that last question. Be careful of that last question. Remember what is today's asynchronous work, okay? Make sure that you do not miss a point there. But that is it. Thank you.